Welcome to this week's Comic Hall and Roundtable discussion. Matt Odom, Xavier Randall, Brother Al Rainey will be joining us a little later on. Hopefully, Vince will be in as well as Larry. But we are here tonight. We're going to talk about quite a few of different things. Before we get that, Xavier, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm wonderful, brother. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Doing good. It's a semi-busy Wednesday for us comic collectors. Uh, got a chance today to see the new Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, and I thought it was quite amusing. Uh, have you had a chance to watch it yet?
Yeah, I watched it. I posted it in our link.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was you or either, Antonio, but I am excited to see what else is in store. I think I saw purple writing, so that made me think Thanos is lurking somewhere nearby. I'm sure it's going to be shown somewhere, or at least hinted at before coming trailers. Uh, also, uh, we're going to talk Comic Hall. Got quite a few today of comics. Got some new stuff, some fresh stuff. Uh, also, uh, this week it was announced that Blade will be has been renewed for a fourth movie. Now, you can take that in three different ways. Uh, I personally don't think it's gonna suck, and I'll tell you why. Because Marvel is doing it. So since Marvel is doing it, actually have faith in it uh, because they did the first Blade, and I think they did the second. I think it was the first. They may have not done the second one. I'll have to go check and see, but I believe the first one was done by Marvel, so I can live with it. Tomb of Dracula, you know, I can work with it, man. As long as they don't, just don't go overboard with it. I think they'll be fine. It'll be nice if they tap Guillermo del Toro again to work with.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty nice.
they're
But
not gonna do that.
yeah, I said no, they're probably not. They probably don't have the budget to get it now. Well, that'll be interesting to see once that comes out. Also, uh, Iron Fist. Uh, I think I brought it up last week. I'm not sure if I did or not,
You
but
did. We talked
I
about
did. Okay, I wouldn't getting old, man. That's what happened when you get 35. You just start to
it.
get stuff.
You were fresh getting back in from cross seas,
Yeah. So,
jet lag.
uh, yep, jet lag. So now let's get down to business. There's a couple of things here that I want to talk about. One is the fact that Black has gone to second printing already.
Already.
Already, I have not even seen the first copy, and I was on order for the first copy, they couldn't even get one at the store. So I've resorted, and I have to go to eBay to try to find one. I mean, some of those prices is astronomical. So I mean, it is what it is. But I think that's pretty amazing. But it's not that it's not expected because the comic itself was I think only printed out like a couple of thousand at best, and so I guess they saw that well, it made its money twofold. So we'll release a second. I just hope it doesn't get to the point where it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 frames. Because then that devalues the first print, which if you collect, like I do, then that means that it kind of knocks the value down a little bit. Now, from time to time, you can run into a situation where the second and third print is actually more important or more valuable than the first print, but that's just far few. You have to be a hell of a couple for that to happen, i.e., Riri Williams type deal. Which, by the way, speaking of Riri Williams, uh, the Jason Scott Campbell covers are absolutely gorgeous of the Invincible Iron Man #1, and everybody who I've talked to, and we talked about this earlier today, loves the hip hop variant of Infamous Iron Man, and a lot of people like the Invincible Iron Man cover with the Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be one that people are gonna get to. So, um, I actually just placed the order for the other variant, the cone variant of that, which I think is probably one of the sexiest, the drawn variants, bro. And I'm not saying for how she looks, I'm just saying the comic, the way it's drawn really looks good. And it's a 1 in 10 variant, so I'll actually post a link in our group tonight, so y'all can snag it if you want. Now while you can, because it's probably gonna go out the roof in the next couple of weeks. That's probably gonna go flat out the roof,
Right.
because it's a 1 in 10. So now let's talk about this story I now, hey, Al's not here yet. Really wanted Al to be here to talk about this, and we'll probably have to bring him in later on. But if I can find the story here, X, what's on your mind, man? We saw, we talked about, we talked about Flash earlier today. I thought the Flash episode was pretty good last night.
I thought it was cute. I needed that last week in the season premiere. I needed something with a little more pace and tone to it. Because last week's episode, and then like we all said, like the week before, how excuse me, episode 1 seemed like a mid-season premiere. I mean, a mid-season finale instead of a world premiere. But I enjoyed it. I like seeing Magenta, and I like how they hinted to Mirror Master.
Yeah, and ironic that brought up because I was screaming Mirror Master about a month ago. I was like, now where's the Mirror Master? Where's this guy? Where's all these other villains at? And it's now that they've hinted at him, he's lurking. That's pretty funny. It seems like we're always like somewhere nearby. I guess they watch the comic hall and go, hey man, Matt said let's put this on there. Al said this, so let's put that villain on, which is hilarious. Now let's talk about it. We'll get back to the Flash in just a second. But let's talk about this. This is a troubling story. Big orders, low sales. Kentucky comic store needs help to make it past November. And basically, what this article is about is Arcadian Comics in Kentucky. They went out and ordered these massive variants. Okay, these massive variants, and they're not selling. And so they're struggling making sales. All right. And my problem with this is not that they're struggling making sales. It's the fact of how did they put themselves into this situation from the start. I mean, why are you ordering 3,000 and 4,000 copies of a comic book that people aren't even pre-ordering?
Right.
Why are you spending that kind of money on that? And the fact that now that you have to close, you're still trying to get people to buy that. To hell with that, man. I would just slash the prices.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. And once again, we're back at this discussion again of variants flooding the market. And this is a good result for those smaller stores. That this is a good example, of what happens when you get caught up in that variant hunting scheme. Don't get sucked into that stuff, man. It was refreshing for me, and I know, like I told y'all earlier, I bought the champion. I bought about 4 or 5 champion variants, but they were all specific ones for specific reasons. But when I went to Comics Plus, Will didn't order 10 to 15 of those because it wouldn't have made any sense. There's not a demand for that. There's not a massive demand. Now, a Killer Be Killed, there's a massive demand for that.
Right.
That's a massive demand. Black, that's a massive demand for that. People are looking for that. Animosity, people are looking for it. Reborn, people are looking for it. Once Our Land, people are looking for it. Champions #1, no. People are not buying all those variant covers. And the most expensive one was like $700. Now who the hell is buying a $700 new comic? And even if you're gonna try to flip that, you can't even flip that. Because nobody's gonna pay $700 for a comic off the rip of something modern. X-Men #1, oh yeah, they'll pay that, no problem at all. But Champions #1,
Right.
no, 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 no. So I hate to see stores getting suckered into buying so many variants, and that they've gotten to a point where they're putting themselves in the hole because they're not making any money. And when I read that, I was it was kind of disgusted. I was pretty disgusted when I saw it because it's like you really did not have to put yourself in this situation by just trying to buy all these variants, thinking that people are just gonna come in and buy it just because it's a variant.
Well, they got greedy, and that was
Exactly.
It's a self-inflicted wound. I hate that the shop has to shut down, but they learned from it.
Well, they're saying that they might not make it past November, but my thing is it could be like one of those furniture sales. We all know about the furniture.
Yeah.
It's got to go today, right now. Must go. Everything must go. Liquidation sale, and they stay open. Well, I hope they say they stay open, man. I definitely don't like to see comic shops closed. But I just, when I saw that article, I just was kind of troubled by the fact that, you would order so much of that crap, and then you're not even having people come in and ask for it on demand. I'd rather be in a situation where people are coming in asking for it and I don't have it.
Right.
Than people coming in asking for it. I mean, people not asking for it, and I got truckloads of it. So if you order the 3,000 or 300, 3,000 of them, then you need to start slashing the prices on them for $1 and make $1. Sell them all for $1 and make that money back. You'll lose a little bit of it, but just take the 35% loss on it and call it a day.
If I read it correctly, didn't they try to put some blame on the distributors?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a less, man. They turned around, man. They said it's their fault, and I'm just like, why is it the distributor's fault when basically, you're trying, you're buying all these variants, and you're not even feeling pulls. That's the thing about it. They're not even feeling pulls. But you go out and buy all these variants. If you know what sells, then buy it. I mean, that's and damn well a champion's #1. There's a high risk that it might not do well, especially on something like that. Invincible Iron Man #1, no question. You ain't have to worry about it. It's going off the shelf just because of the historical value of it.
Right.
Anyway, Infamous Iron Man, we saw today. It was only 2 on the shelf when we were all there today.
Right.
That's flying off the shelf. Death of X, flying off the shelf. Those are the things that is a distributor, a comic, a store. You should know what is selling in your store, so you should be able to order what people are interested in.
According to your clientele.
Yeah. So there's no need of you going out, buying all that crap and not knowing if it's going to sell, and then being upset and put yourself in a hole. So I mean, I really, I can feel a little sorry for them, but not a whole lot.
I don't feel sorry for them at all.
Now I hate to see stores closed, but
Yeah, I hate to see stores closed, but when you have, so let's just say in my job, we have 3 and 4 people asking about a certain TV, and then we go out there and order 3,000 of that one TV. When 3 and 4 people asking for it, it doesn't warrant you ordering 3,000 of that TV. That just means that's bad. The business being ran improperly. You know what I mean?
But that, and then too, this is the other thing, is that right now, if I'm running a comic book store, then I'm very leery about whatever Marvel's putting out right now, outside of a Deadpool, Spider-Man, your basic, because they're getting hammered sales wise.
Right.
And this is no fluke. This is like we're on month 4 of them getting their asses kicked. When Al hops on, we'll talk about those numbers again tonight before we get off. But once again, I mean, I think Marvel is getting ready to be here for a rude awakening in the next couple of months, outside of the Invincible Iron Man, Infamous Iron Man, Spider-Man, Deadpool, X-Men, and Humans. Outside of that, man, I really think Marvel is in major trouble because I don't see much of anything that is coming out that's kind of like, I mean, I told y'all today, Deadpool the Duck.
Yeah.
I mean, you're reaching.
Yeah.
You're reaching.
I think they need to stick with just doing the hip hop bands, honestly, because that's bringing them in a lot of money too.
Yeah, I've actually seen it. I was on a spec group earlier today, and I saw a lot of guys that said they normally don't even get hip hop bands, but they're getting them now just because of the quality. You know, excuse me for yawning. I'm just tired. It's been a long day, exhausted, man. But it's you know, I've seen a lot of guys talk about that they're interested in getting the hip hop variants. So, I mean, that's an avenue that you can work on. And another thing on Marvel is why are you charging $3 and $4 a copy when DC charges what $2.99?
Yeah.
$2.99. Now, why are y'all charging $3 and $4 and $5 for a comic?
Yeah, Marvel's average price is $4.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So, you know, a lot of shop owners, man, are gonna start feeling the pinch behind this. I mean, it's just it's just got to a point where it's ridiculous, man. And you just need to order what you're gonna think is gonna sell, and if it doesn't order and you don't have it, then you know what, just move on to the next thing.
And why not know some like network with some of the other LCBs and if it's any that's left over, they might need some trade with them.
Bingo. I mean, that's why. But you know what? In the comic business, man, it's so cutthroat that everybody's trying to get over. Think that somebody's trying to get over on them. I got to run my own story. It's that another way. It's kind of like what I do for with photography. If everybody's on the same page, everybody makes money. If everybody's not on the same page, only a handful of people make money. That's because A, nobody wants to listen. B, you got shop owners thinking that somebody's out to get their client. C, I just don't give a damn about nobody. I work by myself.
Right.
And so on. So, I mean, a lot of LCSs could go ahead and look at stuff and see what's selling, what's not. It's no different than when you're working in the hotel industry. Anybody that's working in the hotel industry knows exactly what I'm talking about. Other hotels call to see if you're full, just so the fact that if you're not full, we'll send you clients. We'll send you some people over to your hotel or whatever. But it's just all down to common courtesy. But this is a self-inflicted, as you stated, self-inflicted gunshot, and they are going to reap the repercussions for it. Let's move on here, and let's talk about a couple of comics that we've got coming out here. We have got Weapon X. #1 is going to be resurrected according to the Resurrection, Marvel Resurrection, starting next spring, which therefore makes me wonder what the hell is going to go on here with this Inhumans battle, which starts up next month, or either next week or next month 1. So, X, what's your thoughts on Weapon X, man? Weapon X #1.
Before I say my thoughts on that, I wish Larry was on right now so I can ask what his opinion is on it, because not too long ago Larry was talking about how DC did their rebirth and how Marvel hasn't done that, and now lo and behold, it seems that's what Marvel's doing now. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as Weapon X is concerned, what are they gonna do? Why?
I mean, what can you do that has not already been done?
Like, are they gonna retcon Wolverine, or who are they gonna bring in now? What are they supposed to be doing?
I don't know. All I know is that they're doing another one, and like I said, I really don't understand. This goes back to what we just had to talk about. I really don't know. I don't know what Marvel's doing right now. The only thing that's making sense is that movie and TV division. Comic book wise, it's getting rough, man. It's getting rough on the Marvel side of things. I don't know what they can do with it. Now I got a feeling. I just had a sneaky suspicion that Wolverine is going to be back. and you just had this big old deal of the death of Wolverine 2 years ago, and we're gonna move X-23 over to the X-Men. We're gonna push that, but now I think that they're gonna try to make $1 or $2 just off the fact that movie's coming out.
Right.
So I mean, you could always look at it as a ploy for that. But also, Iceman is got a solo comic coming out as well, which I think is okay. Don't know what to think of. X
Jean Grey got a show coming out. She
has
has,
a TV show.
yeah, for the Resurrection
Wait a minute. So you're telling me she's gonna have a TV show, not a comic, a TV show?
show.
I,
Yeah.
I would suppose Fox is doing it.
Yeah, I saw that today. If I'm not mistaken, TC put that in the thread today too.
Yeah, they can keep that too. That's. I mean, why are you putting these mutants in separate shows? It's like Legion. Why? Have you seen the trailer to that?
I've seen 2 trailers and that was it. I don't want to see any more.
And they said Professor X is supposed to make an appearance in that. He can't save that show. That show is already doomed before it even starts. Now I could be wrong, but based on what I see, I don't see anything there.
There's nothing that I've seen and or read about that show that has piqued my interest. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
All right, well, that remains to be seen. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye out on that. So, but as of right now, I really don't see exactly what's going to be going on. Now, one of the big comics that has come out, one of the big pieces of comic news is that Invincible Iron Man #3, Riri Williams will be fighting a pretty big villain, and I want to say Doctor Doom, but I'm not going to say Doctor Doom just off of the strength of Infamous Iron Man. Wouldn't make any sense to have her fight Doctor Doom, and he's over in Invincible Iron Man. I mean, Infamous Iron Man. So I don't know who they're gonna pick for this the villain, and it's got to be a decent Tony Stark foe. Speaking of villains, we talked about this earlier today. The Taskmaster is supposed to be back on the scene, and he's supposed to be fighting Hydra, Captain America. I see you shaking your head. I thought, he just got, like Larry said today, he just got his ass whooped by X-23. So now all of a sudden, he's mustered up enough courage. I guess he's still like, well, I get my ass kicked by X-Men. I'm not going to bother that. I'm going back over to Captain America. I'd rather get my ass kicked by the Captain than to get my ass kicked by X-23.
The messed up thing is I'm so far out of the X-Men game right now as far as comics because they put out too much too soon. If you miss the first 2 issues, you out of the loop because they only doing 4-issue runs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too, man. A lot of 4-issue runs. I mean, even with Luke Cage, that's only a 4-issue run.
Right. I'm about on the, even though I'm not big on Marvel like Larry and Brother Al, but give me something that has some kind of longevity to it.
Yeah.
Don't start it, then end it, then bring something else out, and then end that, and then go back to it, and then end it again, and then go on to something else, and then go back to it after that. That's too much to try to keep up with. Get one consistent story and just keep going with it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Well, let's move on to one of our favorite parts of the show. We hadn't done this in a few weeks, but we're bringing it back. And I pulled this one today just because I wanted to show you what I was talking about. The Superman Batman #7 French variant signed by Gabriel D'Alto, a whopping $2,749. My friend, you must be out of your damn mind.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn how much, who it's from, and what. Limited edition, 2000. No, I'm not paying $3,000.
If Bob Kane didn't sign it, it ain't worth that amount of money.
Yeah, yeah. This is the one that I was bidding on actually earlier. The one I told you I drove the bid up on.
Mm-hmm.
It's at $315 already, so that's gonna be $1,000 easily before it's all said and done. I'm just watching it now. All right, now if you're a big Doctor Strange fan and you want to go get the first appearance of Doctor Strange, it's gonna cost you a whopping $44,000. That is a BMW 5 class.
And that's 4 of my car.
That's 2 of mine. 3 of mine, to be exact. I mean, some of these slab prices are just absolutely insane. If they think somebody's gonna pay it. Just look. And this right here, man, this one here, right here, this Doctor Strange, number 169. You could have got this. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Folds, creases, $2,500.
The pages are damn near brown. I mean, like brown, not yellow, yeah. Brown.
With the writing, this is a reader copy at best. Todd M, you can keep that copy right there at your house. Nobody's paying you that kind of money for it. He's got to be out of his damn mind. Not only that, but here's a Doctor Strange 50, 1993. Well, it's supposed to be a quote unquote error holograph. No holographics for it. And I'm going to look for $3,000 for it. No. No way, no how, not happening. CGC, Euro, Amazing Fantasy, Spider-Man 15. Now, they spin. No, I don't even know what the hell that is, but they want $5,000 for it. Okay. That's absolutely insane. Iron Fist 14. Look at this. $8,000 for 8.5 grade. Iron Fist 14. Now, who's paying that? 31 people to watch me because we all want to see who the fool is going to be that's going to buy it. That's what everybody's looking at to see what fool is going to buy that. Nobody.
I mean, that's more than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. That's more than doggone Hulk 181. No.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. It's gonna run you a good grade, which is a good grade. It's about 8,700. 8,700. Which I can understand. Much as I give people slack, I can understand why this is that price because there's only a handful known to man that's out there. Yeah. So I can kind of understand why Ninja Turtles is a little pricey. First print, anyway. First print is damn near impossible to find. So, I mean, I could understand that. But as far as some of that other stuff, man, no, there's no way. No way. No way. And, I mean, you could just scroll down here and just see how many first prints you run across. Very few first prints you're going to see. So that tells you all you need to know about how rare it is. Which is why I went ahead and paid what I paid for it. But I was like, yeah. Probably not gonna see this again if I don't see it. So went ahead and got that. So no, went ahead and took advantage of it. The Shield was an excellent show last night. Xavier Randall. I mean, this Ghost Rider, man. I'm just captivated every time he comes on the screen, and I really enjoyed myself last night. I thought last night's episode was pretty fun.
I really love how they are not trying to force him on us either. You know what I mean? It's like the way that they have him in the show is almost like this is not his first time being on. You know, he fits in so well and it's so smooth how he plays into the story also.
Yeah, I think with the what I like about it is the fact that he has such an edge. And watching the first two Ghost Rider movies, that edge was not there. And it's almost like kind of like I used this analogy earlier. It's like watching Shane from The Walking Dead. When Shane showed up from The Walking Dead, oh, I bet yeah, let's make it Bond. When he shows up as the Punisher, you know somebody's head is about to get knocked off, and you don't even have to guess. Somebody's about to get hurt.
Right.
And it's the same thing when the Ghost Rider shows up. Somebody's about to pay the price. Don't know who it is, but somebody's about to pay the price. And like you said, they've done an excellent job in how they present it. I had my reservations about the whole car deal. I could care less about that. I actually think the car makes him a much cooler character.
Yeah.
His personality, I really think it works out well. The whole inhuman factor is very interesting as well. I find it to be very, very captivating. I think they've done a really good job with this season of S.H.I.E.L.D. So far, and hopefully they'll continue to build on it, and it'll continue to be a good show. So I think they've done a really good job with it. Me and you both Strain fans. The Strain is this Sunday. Like I said, if you've not been watching this third season of The Strain, shame on you. I would say this past week was probably one of the best episodes that I've seen. Basically, the last 15 minutes was the best 15 minutes of any episode outside of the one when the oculation occurred. But this right here, man, this episode, they've got to. And I told Antonio, I said, they've got to give Quinlan his own show. They've got to give him his own show. It has to be a spinoff because he is so captivating as a character that you just want to know more about this guy.
Right.
You know, you want to know, what is this guy all about? How did he get here? How did he get, I know they give you just a little quick snapshot on the show, but you really want to get a chance to really know who this guy is. And the way that this past week's episode ended with a cliffhanger. And we're still in the season. Usually you get these kind of cliffhangers at the end of the season. But we got like 2 more episodes to go before we're at the end of the season. And it's just absolutely amazing that week after week after week, this show gets better and better and better and better.
I'm like you. I need more than just 2 episodes of a backstory. You know what I'm saying? And I'm already looking forward to the last season, just off of how this past episode ended. I can't wait for all of season 4.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert for those who have not watched that, step away. But the fact of the matter that we still don't even know what the master's gonna look like. We don't know who the master is.
Right.
We know the other agents are starting to lurk around. They sabotage to kill the other one. You're like, damn, man. I can't even remember that happening in the book. I might be wrong. I might have to go back and double check again, but I don't recall that happening in the book. So, like I said, Gabriel Del Toro has done not Del Toro. Go ahead, something like Del Auto. I get them both confused. But Guillermo Del Toro has done an outstanding job with this particular season. And like you said, next season I think it's going to be really well too. The Flash. Well, we talked about the Flash. I think Green Arrow comes on tonight, so I have to watch that. I think I'm recording that, so I have to watch that when it go after we get off the air. So I can't tell you about that.
I'll watch
go ahead.
That's when I see it. I'm not excited about it.
I'm gonna check out Legends of Tomorrow next week. Antonio said it's supposed to be pretty good, so I'll give it a shot since he said it's pretty good, and I'll give you my thoughts on that next week. I mean,
garbage.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll take a look at it and see what it's all about. I think that is pretty much about it on that side of the pond. Back to Flash. I know we talked about Flash earlier. I thought this week's episode of Flash was pretty good. I did not watch last week's because I took the heat of your warning. I thought this week's was pretty good. Alluded to Kid Flash, how he gets his powers. I thought that the whole, huh?
I said Jesse Quick.
Yeah, Jesse Quick, all of that. Uh, I thought it was a really interesting show this week, much better than last week's. Uh, and then it was much better than first week. First week was absolutely should have been the middle of the season of last season. You know, so I think that they've kind of gotten everything back to rolling on that. So the Flash was pretty good this week. For those who watch Z Nation was pretty good last week. Still trying to round up a cure, and Murphy is still on his tirade, trying to get everything situated. I thought it was an okay episode. Let me take that back. If I had to 1 to 10, I'll probably give it about a 7, 8. There was a couple of really good scenes to it. Then there were some scenes where it's just like, okay, just dragging on and on and on. So I got a feeling this week will be full throttle ahead as they move forward. Z Nation is another show. If you don't take it serious, you'll love it. I told Al that. So X, if you need something to watch while you're sitting around the house, toss in Z Nation and don't take it serious, and you'll like it. It's pretty amusing. So,
is it on
yeah, it's on Netflix. Season 1 is pretty good. It's silly, man. Season 1 is real silly. Season 2 is sillier. Last season it gets just damn hysterical. Last season was hysterical, and then this season is actually a little bit more serious tone than the previous 4. So, all right, well, let's get to our top 10 list before we get to our comment hall. Looks like we're gonna probably beat everybody off the show today. Everybody's supposed to join, but looks like they are going to miss the boat. So we'll go ahead and get started with our top 10. This week it is our top 10 80s song. Now everybody knows I'm an 80s baby to the highest extent, so this list was pretty damn hard for me to do. But I will go ahead and try my best. So let's go with number 10. I've got Devo, Whip It, at number 10. Number 9, Public Enemy, Fight the Power. Number 8, Thomas Dolby, She Blinded Me with Science. Number 7, Harold Faltermeyer, Axel F. I listen to that riding down the street every once in a while. Number 6 is Soft Cell with Tainted Love. Number 5 is In Excess, I Need You Tonight.
Brother Al.
Yes.
Evening.
Number 4 is Prince, When Doves Cry. Number 3 is Michael Jackson, Thriller. Number 2, Wham, Anything She Wants. And number 1 is one of my personal favorites, Hall & Oates, Man Eater. Can't go wrong with Hall & Oates, man. So that is my top 10 list of 80 songs. Brother Al, glad to have you with us, my man.
Glad to be here.
Well, we were talking about before we keep on with the list. We were talking about. Did you get a chance to read the article that Antonio sent about the store going out of business?
I did, and I was listening to the broadcast on the way back to my homeboy's house. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here before me. I'm on location, Columbus, Georgia, this evening. But yeah, I did, and you brought up some interesting points, and it's funny that you said what you said because I caught some of what you were talking to X about. I went to one of the local comic book stores here in Columbus today, and particular comic book, which is that Bruce Lee or The Dragon Rises, and he didn't know anything about the book. And the way he actually works his orders, and he has a pretty good selection of new books: DC, Marvel, Image, IDW, Top Cow, Valiant, so on and so forth. But the way he actually operates in his store is that he buys certain comics based on people that come in and patronize the store. He won't actually order a comic book unless there's some type of demand for it or somebody comes in and asks for it. And I think with a lot of these particular LCS, the local comic stores that are going out of business or that are lacking in sales, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're getting on this variant craze. Because with most of these particular stores, they have to order a certain number of comic books to get the variant or the Rob Liefeld variant for various books. So when you look at it from that perspective, some of them are shooting themselves in the foot because according to that article, people aren't coming in buying the first print like they suspect, and some people, depending upon the actual local comic store, not buying the variants. So they're putting themselves in a position where, like you said, they have overstock. Because they have overstock, nowhere in the world nobody's gonna go in and buy the books 2-3 months old for cover price. And then, Matt, basically what you would need to do is just knock $1, $2 off the book, sell it for $1, take that loss, and from that point or that perspective, just make sure that when you're ordering those books in the future, you're not putting yourself or setting yourself up for failure. So that's one of the things that I would basically just want to add to the conversation, because a lot of these local comic stores or the comic book stores, if they're not in metropolitan areas, they're pretty much putting themselves in a position to where they're going to be hemorrhaging money and losing money hand over foot. And when you're dealing with that situation, you have you're basically setting yourself up for failure. That's the way I see it. So, at the end of the day, and if there are any comic book owners, comic book store owners watching this show, order what you can. If you can get the variants, then fine. But know that when you get these variants, that you're going to have a crap load of books that you're going to have to get rid of. Like, for example, there's this store in McDonough, the variant store, Matt, and this particular store, for the most part, they have a pretty decent selection, but they have an overflow of comics. Right now, they're running a 5 for $5 sale, and some of the stuff, as a matter of fact, you might be interested in this, X. They have a lot of Batman stuff, like in the new 52 overstock on. And a lot of those books, like the Batman, Justice League books for the new 52, they're selling 5 for $5.
Mm.
So, that's a testament to the fact, and this is a smaller comic book store compared to Bungie, which is on the opposite or on the next exit up from Animes and Escape. So when you're dealing with that type of thing, the comic book stores just have to be careful. They have to be mindful that when they're trying to appease these orders to get these variants, they're kind of like cutting off their nose to spite their face. And one other thing I want to make mention too, when it comes down to it, I think a lot of emphasis is put on the variants by the publishers, DC and Marvel, to basically sell. When you're dealing with a situation where you have so many comic books, thousands of comic books, you have to order 1,000 comic books just to get one variant. In my opinion, that's kind of like, that's highway robbery. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult for a comic book store. Yeah, you want that variant to be that special book, but at the same time, if this particular store has to buy 1,000 comic books just to get one variant, that's kind of, of course they're gonna buy it, but that's kind of dirty pool on the part of the publishers, So
Well, this is the other thing too, man, is that this is my whole thing when it comes to like these variants. A classic example is the infamous Inhumans number 11. That issue was going to sell regardless because of the fact that Mosaic was in there, which we'll get to him in a minute. Say that was the other thing that I neglected. I know we started our top 10 list, but that's what I neglected to get on. We'll get on him in just a second. But that issue of Mosaic appearing in Inhumans number 11 that was going to sell anyway. So you could have ordered that many copies of that and it was sold. Now let's go back to what I brought about earlier. Now there's no way in hell I'm buying 3,000 Champions #1. And I know I keep going back to that Champions #1, but who's buying? Who's going into the store? Who's actively seeking Champions #1? That
Right.
to that extent. Civil War, those first couple of variants that came out for Civil War, that made sense because everybody was gonna buy Civil War 2 anyway, because it's Civil War.
Right.
So this is why, like I said earlier, I don't understand the sense in ordering a bunch of variants for a comic book that you're not even sure if it's going to sell. Which is why you see Black going off the shelf, because they only ordered so many of them. And so people are scrambling to go get it. I would rather be in that situation. Like I don't know if you heard this part, I'd rather be in a situation where I don't have it and people are asking for it versus me have too much of it. And then now I'm sitting here, hurting, because I spent all this money and nobody's buying. But then that goes back to what you said. We start slashing the prices, 75 cents a comic, $3, it's $4. I'm letting it go today for $1.50. Take the loss. You got to come up off of pride every once in a while.
Right.
Right. And one thing too, I like to add to that. There used to be a time, and we all know this because we've been dabbling in comic books for quite some time. Variant comic books came along at a time where first printing sold out, and they wanted to do something different. Back in the early, like the mid 80s to the early 90s, you really didn't see too many variants. You saw a few, but you didn't see too many that would actually be like, okay, they're going to do like 3 or 4 or 12 different variants for one book. X-Men 79 is an example. They did like 2, and that was back like in the mid 70s. They had one where Havoc was fighting Cyclops on the cover, and then they had a B cover which had Havoc on the cover, and the background was blue. And the reason why they did that is because that particular comic book, the first printing, sold out because it was a battle between brothers, between Cyclops and Havoc. And if I'm not mistaken, and please, if I'm wrong, I'm going to charge it to my head, not to my heart, people, ladies and gentlemen. But if I'm not mistaken, it was X-Men 79, and that's where a lot of the variants come from. The same goes with New Mutants 87. The first appearance of Cable. The first printing was an orange cover. The variant printing was basically it was the same cover except it was gold. So I think with the variant craze and with the craze, with people trying to get these variants and stuff, I think it's putting a lot of these comic book shops at a point to where they feel like they have to go out and get this, even though, and the logic behind it, when you get these variants, you're only going to get 1 or 2 of them based on what you order, unless you're a large distributor of comics. So why would you even risk it selling, buying 1,000 copies of Champions when people aren't checking Champions for that? There aren't. I mean, most people, like many people, like a couple of folks in the hall in our private group, they're getting, or in the gaming buddies, they're just getting the variants, but they're not getting like the original copy. So you got all these copies of Champions just sitting up somewhere, and you either gonna take a loss on them, or you're gonna take a loss on them. So I really, in all honesty, I have no sympathy for the comic book stores. What I think should be done by both Marvel, DC, and anybody else that relies a lot on those orders is start making the comics themselves worthwhile. I mean, X-Men, all y'all know, Amazing Spider-Man 129, first appearance of the Punisher. That's the reason why that book, they had a second printing of that book, and that's worth a little money, but not as much as the original printing. Iron Fist 14, the first appearance of Sabretooth. It used to be where a comic book was, the value of the comic book was based on the happenings, like the Uncanny Humans 11, the first appearance of Mosaic. Batman 426 is when Jason Todd got murked by the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fans wanting to see him die. Those are the type of things that added value to a comic book. Now I can see you coming out with a book, and that book, you know, like the Deadpool Back in Black or whatever it's called, Rob Liefeld did like a limited edition collection where they only did like 10 books. Yeah, I can see that. But, you know, at the end of the day, the comic book stores, the owners, they're going to have to get a little bit smarter when it comes down to ordering this stuff, picking and choosing what they want to get. Because, you know, I couldn't be a comic book owner sitting on 1,000 copies of Champions, the first printing, and not knowing how I'm going to sell these suckers unless you're going to give them out for comic book day next year. So.
I would have to. I would automatically. I mean, one way that you could alleviate that, and I would have to ask Will. This is something that I could ask Will next time we see him. Is that, you know, why not just throw all those ones, those champion number ones, or whatever, and I'm just using that as an example. Why not just go ahead and buck those already? Dollar bin. Just automatically shift them over to the dollar bin. Put those variants up there, make your money off the variant. That goes back to Xavier. This is why when Will orders those variants, he upcharges $10 to $15 because he's had to pay so much money to get to the book. Yeah. So that's the crazy thing about it. And that's what goes back to what Al said. This is why Marvel should be ashamed of themselves for making, you know, these distributors. Instead of just saying, hey, look, we're going to either you buy 500 copies of this comic, and if you want 500 variant, you get 500 variant. If you want 500 regular editions, you can get 5. You know, whatever the amount of variants you want to get, this is what we'll pay you for. You know, instead of just, and it's all down to the artist. We got to pay the artist for drawing the original cover. We got to pay Jason Scott Campbell his amount of money for doing the variant A, and we got to go, you know, and so on. But it shouldn't be that way. You should just, all right, we want Jason to do this cover. We want Neil Adams to do this cover. We want Mama Eugene to do this cover. And if you want to buy Mama Eugene's cover, then you buy Mama Eugene's cover. You know, and then you buy 5 of them, you buy 5 of them. Be through with it instead of trying to make it like a lottery system almost. Because, you know, now with that Thundercats and He-Man, a lot of people got different versions because of the variants. It was a lottery. If you ordered for like Midtown, like I did, you didn't know which one you were getting. So you just had to take whatever was given out is what was given out. So I think we're going back down that variant crash again. I think we're close to it. I think we're much closer to it this time out than we were before. And especially with this lineup that Marvel's got coming out next year. Because I really don't see no way, and I don't know if you caught this part, it's just no way I would punt on some of the stuff Marvel is putting out right now. There's some of that stuff I would just kind of back far away from it. You know, I probably order me 30 copies, maybe 20 copies of a comic and move on about my business.
No, and I was looking at also checking out some of the books in the store that I went to today. And of course, you know, they're starting a lot of story arcs that's going to lead into, I guess, their renumbering of their books. And I know we're on a different subject, but I just wanted to touch this briefly. I know the Black Panther, I didn't pick that up today, but Black Panther 7 had a story arc that's apparently going to go from Black Panther 7 to Black Panther 8. And then after number 8, they're going to go into Black Panther City of Wakanda, People of Wakanda, something. The Captain America Sam Wilson was going to be a fight for the shield. So I guess him and Steve Rogers are about to go at it over the shield. I don't like the way that Marvel is doing things. You know, I was in the comic book collecting group a couple of days ago, and one of the guys was talking about the renumbering of books and how, you know, with Marvel you could get like, for example, like X-Men, for example, went up to issue 544, or was up to like issue 600. Of any other books, but some of the books like Hulk, you know, they were up in the 500, 600 issues, but, you know, they were saying that the way Marvel wants to do it now, they want to do everything in seasons, where everything is more or less like a mini series, and they're going to do 10, 15, 20 issues of a book, and then they're going to start over, which to me devalues books. And I think that's one of the main reasons why they're focusing a lot on these variants, is because they spend more time retweaking and reinventing the wheel, when sometimes it's not even necessary. Just put out good stories, put out good storylines. Did y'all talk about the Resurrection?
Kind of glossed over it a little bit.
Okay, I read that Jean Grey is supposed to be coming back. I've read that, of course, we've been talking about the Iceman thing, Weapon X. To me, those are just ploys. I don't see, and Larry might disagree, because, you know, Larry, he's gonna disagree. If you're watching Larry, I know you're probably shaking your head somewhere. But I mean, as far as it goes, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that Marvel is doing. Jean Grey should already come back. But for her to just come back and have a solo book, I don't see that being successful. Iceman, I'm pretty sure they're going to go with the PC Iceman. It's probably going to be the gay Iceman, to try to get a little bit more stories out of him, because the heterosexual Iceman, they've tried stories within the X-Men comic book to try to flesh his character out. Aside from him being an Omega level mutant, ain't really too much to Bobby Drake. So I think the whole variant thing is driven based on the fact that Marvel hasn't really, they're not really sitting down and saying, hey, we need to just start doing some good stories. We don't need to keep doing an event every 5 or 6 months. You know, Marvel has rebooted, I want to say, probably 5 or 6 times over the past 4 or 5 years. And to me, that's not good, you know. If you're going to do something, do it and then follow it to the end. If it don't work, it just doesn't work. So, but anyway, I'm done. I'm sorry.
But no, that's exactly right, man. And the thing about it is, that's, you know, we're back at that crossroad again of, you know, Marvel getting their asses kicked in the sales war again. And I think they're scrambling because, like I said earlier, they're doing fine on the TV front and on the Netflix front and the movie front, but on the print front, you're falling apart. It's kind of like, oh shit, we got to figure out what to do, and we all know, because we all read DC. DC's not doing anything special. They're just putting out good content. It's just good content, and they're sticking. They're not just drastically going, oh well, we're gonna put Killer Croc, and Killer Croc's gonna team up with Mirror Master and Batman and Robin, and they're gonna fight crime. They're not just doing randomly crazy things that make you go, why would you do that? You know, it's like I said before, Alan. I don't know if you heard this. It's like I was telling the guys today. Deadpool the Duck.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, really? Deadpool the Duck. That's where we at. And you talking to a Deadpool fan?
It's all about pimping. Marvel, I mean, really, if some of the characters were prostitutes, they will be really good pimps, because, you know, it comes to a point in time where you say, okay, how much saturation will a particular character get? Now, not to stray too far away from DC. DC, of course, they're doing the same thing to a degree with Harley Quinn. To my knowledge, she's only in 2 books right now. Her book and Suicide Squad, which, you know, to me is decent. But when you have a character like Deadpool and he's spread all all Deadpool versus Gambit, Deadpool and the Mercs for money, Deadpool versus Thanos, Deadpool Doug. I mean, it comes a point in time where that particular character gets stale. It's only so much that you can do with that character to keep that character fresh. But if you're ramming them down people's throats because he's the flavor of the month, you know, it's going to be just like Wolverine. You know, Wolverine was the same way. You know, they stretched him thin. I was a big fan of Wolverine back in the day, but once they started pimping him out, it was like, okay, I'm done. So I honestly think that, you know, if they put out good material, you know, it would be better. Now, I'm collecting the Death of X, and I'm still collecting Uncanny Inhumans and Extraordinary X-Men, and I'll continue to, you know, collect those until they end the story arcs. But at the end of the day, you know, I just get tired of seeing the reboots on both Marvel and DC side. Just stick with the plan, stick with the program, keep it moving, and just ride it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I mean, when you look at Walking Dead, I've used Walking Dead as a classic example. They don't normally change anything. It's usually when somebody dies, it's usually some drastic, you know, it happens, they move on, they stay on the same trail, and that's it. I mean, it's business as usual. They don't go sideways all the, like what we see with Marvel. They just go sideways sometimes. You know, it's just like I was telling telling Xavier, I don't know who Riri Williams' first major villain gonna be, because you can't put Dr. Doom in there because he's doing Infamous Iron Man. So it would be stupid to have Dr. Doom fighting her, and then he's Infamous Iron Man. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about when it comes to Marvel taking their head out their ass, per se. Is, you know, it's like you used to say all the time. You got Wolverine over here. You got Wolverine fighting this person. Wolverine fighting that person. X-Men over here fighting this person. They're over here in this comic. The Fantastic Four over here. You got everybody everywhere instead of being where they need to be, handling their own business and their own comic.
Right.
You know. So that remains to be seen. All right. Well, let's we were doing our top 10 list, everyone. I'm sorry, we went way over there. So X, we're gonna go ahead and let you roll your top 10 out, top 10 80s cuts.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. I wasn't big into music in the 80s, so I'm gonna give you all the top 10 for me and what I was listening to. Number 10, Candy Girl. New edition, man. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I had to listen to it. Don't make me listen to it. 9. I Wonder If I Take You Home. Lisa.
Man, I wrote that cut, man. Lisa,
Colt Jam. Man, this is 80s stuff, man. Everybody likes stuff out of 80s.
What? Man. Colt Jam with Full Force?
Yeah.
What? I know what you're talking about, X. You stop.
Number 8, It's Tricky. Number 7, It's Like That. Number 6, Carrie and Queen.
Bill Ocean.
Yeah. Number 5, King of Rock. Number 4, Hold It Now. Number 3, Beat It. And I ain't gonna lie, number 1 and number 2, man, it was real hard for me, man. But number 2, I had Paul Revere.
Oh, Beastie Boys.
And number 1, I Need Love.
LL Cool J.
I was on that Paul Revere so tough back then, man.
I think everybody was on Beastie Boys. Back then, it was such a sign that nobody heard.
Right.
And then they like,
that was pretty decent list.
Boys. Go ahead.
I said that was a pretty decent list, man.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I know with the Beastie Boys, especially back then, the Beastie Boys were the Beastie Boys. They weren't trying to be something that they weren't. Like a lot of these people are in the early 2000s, especially now, where everybody sounds the same. it was so different. So I was drawn to. I mean, I ain't even gonna lie, them jokers, they pretty much made me listen to music, not just hearing it, but actually listening to it. You know, and that's what brought me into the hip hop game.
Cool.
I almost put De La Soul in there, but I couldn't remember if they were late 80s, early 90s.
It was like 88, 89.
They were like 80s, right. 3 Feet High and Rising came out like in 87, no, 88, 89, yeah.
Yeah, they were right there on that tail end there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Popping up, brother. What you got for your top 10?
All right. My top 10, man, pretty much consists of a lot of pop. Man, the household that I grew up in, we couldn't listen to certain types of music, but I used to sneak and listen to certain things, and I used to stay up late and watch Friday night videos and night tracks on WTBS, and then Night Flight on USA Network. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And that was in the boom of the video revolution, and video killed the radio star. So I'm an avid fan of the 80s music. So when you said 80s music, man, my head almost exploded. And I couldn't come up with a top 10 list that I really was proud of, because I love so many different 80s music, 80s songs. So I did an honorable mention, and I did the top 10. I have a couple of ties. So I'm going to go with my honorable mention first. Number 5, Look of Love, ABC. Number 4, Caribbean Queen, Billy Ocean. Number 3, The Word Is Out by Jermaine Stewart, 12-inch version. Number 2, Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. Number 1, Cruel Summer by Bananarama. Number top 10 was very difficult, but I'm going to break it down to y'all. Number 10, Perfect Way by Scritti Politti. Jungle Love by Morris Day and the Time.
Yo.
What? I want to take you to my cage. Lock you up and hide the key. Oh, man. Okay, number 8 was that old fine Sheila E. and the Glamorous Life. I used to love that video. I had a huge crush on Sheila E. back in the day. Number 7 was her protege, Rest in Peace, 1999 by Prince. Number 6 is Yamo Be There by Michael McDonald and James Ingram.
Oh, yes. Hey, man. That's Yamo Be
That's all right there. Up and over.
Hey, check this out. Man, I thought Michael McDonald was black until I was 13 years old, man.
Bro, I'm telling you, Michael McDonald fooled a lot of folks back in the day, bro. I mean, he had that soulful voice. The Doobie Brothers, man. One of my favorite songs from them is called "What a Fool Believes." Y'all look that song up on YouTube. That's
to reason
away, man. Y'all gonna learn tonight. The Doobie Brothers, "What a Fool Believes." Okay, number 5 is a two-way tie between Phil Collins' Studio and Culture Club, Time Clock of the Heart.
Oh,
a lot of folks don't know this.
I know all about that, man.
What? Culture Club, man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm not really ashamed to say it. I was real young when Culture Club would drop. I was in elementary school, and this was back in like early 80s, like 83. I honestly thought, I didn't know anything about androgyny because, my mind was still pure, and I just, tinker toys and Legos. But I thought Boy George was a chick. I did.
We didn't know what gay was.
Not gonna lie. Right, you didn't know that, androgynous. What is androgynous, mama? My mama didn't even know, But yeah, Culture Club, that Time Clock of the Heart, man. Culture Club had some hits back then, man. Call Me Chameleon, Church of the Poison Mind, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? So that's, man, we ain't talking about that, bro. We talking about before the end. Phil Collins Studio was actually an homage to Prince's 1999. He heard Prince's 1999, and he pretty much came up with the concept of that. So Prince influenced that song. Number 4, Duran Duran, The Reflex as a Lonely Child. That's my song right there. Every little thing the Reflex does leaves an answer to a question mark. That's some serious philosophy right there. Number 3, Holding Back the Years.
Dude, I did not know. I couldn't remember that was 80s or 90s.
That's 80s, brother. That's 80s all the way.
Fred, come on.
Thinking of the fear I've had so long.
I wanted that on my list, but I could not remember, and I left my iPod in my car.
It's man, I'll keep holding on. Man, that song be pumping. So Holding Back the Years, number 3.
Hey,
Simply Red. Yes, sir.
Not to cut you off. I hate to interrupt, but a lot of people don't. You know, would put that song back on the map. But when Brand Nubians came out with Hold On, people had to go back and see what the original track was. Man,
Right.
I can talk music all day. Let's go.
Bro, I know that's right, man. But that song right there, Holding Back the Years, if you going through some stuff, man, that thing might make you shed a couple tears, man, for real. Okay. Number 2, I heard Matt had this this group on his list. Careless Whisper by Wham.
Wham.
Can't go wrong with Wham, man.
Let's get guilty fear got no river. Man, that's man, you can put some of this 80s stuff, man, to some of this stuff today. It'll blow it out the water, man. Careless Whisper, man. Okay, number 1 is a 2-way tie. And it really this one wasn't really that difficult though, but it's a 2-way tie. By Michael Jackson and Spandau Ballet, True. I know that much is true. Man, that song right there, that's like the smoothest song that was ever created. I don't care if maybe song come out 200 years from now, man, but True is gonna stand the test of time, man. That song, one of the greatest songs of all time. And that's my list, ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't mad at that. They brought that.
All right, next week
Don't do 90s.
we're gonna stay with the music
Don't do
scene,
90s. Don't do
and
90s.
we're gonna do the top 10 hip hop groups of all time.
Oh,
y'all know who my number 1 is.
We're gonna let it go. Don't
Wu-Tang.
say anything. I'm sure Larry will be on next week. I can just about guarantee TC. Yeah. Woo Tang. Woo Tang. Woo Tang is on the brain. Yeah. So we go. Next week is the top 10 hip hop groups of all time. There will be cussing. There will be fighting. There will be arguing amongst all of us. I can just about imagine you'll see about 8 boxes next week on that. I had already been lurking. I was waiting for a window to do it, and I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I was gonna hold that one up for a while, but I want to bring that one on near, or as Charlie Murphy, as Dave Chappelle do when he do Rick James. All right, fellas. It is the best time of the week. It is now time for our comment hall. And Xavier Randall, would you like to do the honors today, my friend?
Sure, why not? Got a couple. Yeah, I got Harley Quinn, number 6. I like
that cover.
Yeah, and this the regular cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this the regular, no variant, just regular. Green Arrow, number 9. You know, had to go ahead and jump on that. I know I keep saying every time for Green Arrow comic, great story. It's up there with the play. Read it if you don't have it. You can't go wrong. I wish I would have jumped on board sooner, but thank you, Big Al and VC. Did I say VC? VG. But I got Deadpool Back in Black, issue 2. I still haven't read the first one. I'm probably read all of them back to back whenever they finish, because they known for doing 4-issue runs. Batman #9. I was torn between this one and the Bane issue, but this is a good read. I like the direction that it's going. Justice League, the variant cover. I accidentally stumbled across doing the variants, but
That's the Michael Hawkins version.
Dude, I don't know why, but it's like all of a sudden now they're doing the individual person on each variant cover of the Justice League. So I just went ahead and grabbed that because I got a feeling they are going to tie in somehow at the end, you know. Nightwing #7. Just a regular cover right here. This is picking up. It dropped off a couple issues, but it's getting back to where it needed to be. And Detective Comics 942. The only reason I really picked this one up was because this is part 6, where they were tying in Batman and Detective Comics. So I just got that little story run. These Red Hood and Outlaws. Like I had to wait.
Bizarro. I just a Bizarro.
Yeah. This is he actually appears in the book, so went ahead and grabbed that one. But that is it for me, guys.
All right. Well, I will follow suit with my haul for the week. And this week we're gonna start things off a little different. Got a nice surprise for y'all.
Oh Lord. Are you going back to Slab City?
Yeah, well, we're gonna go down to Slab City a little bit. But first up is the Lost Boys #1. And the Lost Boys #1 variant. I mean, 80s music, underwear, and leather and chains. I mean, this is,
that dude is humongous now.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna take that. Xavier was with me today when I picked this up. Like, hey man, Gene Simmons.
Heck no.
Can't go wrong with that. So this is actually a 1 in 15 variant. So it was only one in the store. And I snagged that joke quick.
That's Family Guy variant.
Yeah.
Shit.
Next up, slow up. Let's coming up slow. Luke Cage, #5. First appearance of Black Mariah. I actually got this today. The show dropped on Netflix, and I picked this up for about $15. I'll buy it now. I said, let me hurry up get this now before it get out of hand. So I bought that.
$55 for a tour.
Yeah. Same day as well. I picked this up because nobody's going. This is one that y'all can still get for little or nothing too, if you're trying to collect. This is a Daredevil, number 178. It's the first appearance of Iron Fist and Power Man with Daredevil. Prelude to the Spindles. So I want to snag this one here. All right, going back, keeping it modern. Picked up. This is the red variant cover version of Killer Be Killed #1. This is actually the third print, which I'm actually like the second and third print, but I like the first one. And this is actually Killer Be Killed issue number 3, which I will probably read tonight before I go to bed. The Gwenpool Champions variant. I think I got this one off of Midtown for nothing, like a few bucks here and there. It's Gwenpool, so I picked it up. Kudos to Larry for pulling. We were digging, and he pulled this and set this inside for me. It's the Inferior Deadpool. First appearance of Spider-Man and Deadpool together as a team. I think it's first appearance. Could be wrong, but I think I might be right. Next up is and we'll talk about him before this will be the last thing we talk about tonight before we go up there. Mosaic variant and the other Mosaic 1 in 15 variant. Yeah, this one is actually starting to rise up in price. So, and last but not least, this is something that totally is gonna catch some people off guard. I'm gonna go down to Slab City. I got this slab for about $30. I said I picked this one up because I know that long term this is a good buy. And this is Jupiter's Legacy #1 CGC, and it even came with a certificate. There's only a handful of these at a 9.8, and I have the certificate to come along with it. So I'm happy, man. On that note, Al, let you take it away, my friend.
All righty. My pulls aren't that great this week. Conservation to a certain degree. Still got to buy me some comics.
Oh, by the way, whoa. I'm sorry. I did get this one, Xavier. I'm sorry, y'all. I was looking, I was like, wait, I feel like I'm missing something. I am. This is one that I definitely bought. This is the lowest
Okay.
106. And if you can look at this, it says here that yes, Superman close the body mode and switch on the power. It is important that I live the next 24 hours as a black woman. So
the Black Lives Matter issue.
Yeah, that's exactly. But no, this is actually a pretty good issue. I actually read it, Xavier, to see what it was all about, man. It's actually a pretty good issue. But I bought this one because this was what I would call hot coffee for the time that this was put out. Man, this is probably a pretty controversial issue. So
I'm trying to remember, is one I found for you?
No, this is one that I actually found this with Larry. You know what? You might have when we were back there that same day. It might have been that one of those boxes you brought, but I know I said when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'm buying it. Yeah. Matter of fact, it was in a box that you brought. And I said, yeah, I'll sit this off to the side. I'll get this just off the strength of the fact that there's a lot of historical stuff going on here. And last but not least is I got picked up a Space Odyssey 2001, a Space Odyssey #1. I got this for like $8. So that's it, Al. I'm sorry to cut you off, brother.
That's quite all right. Lois Lane should have stayed black, because that black Lois Lane will still look like. Anyway, yeah, I said it. Okay, well, I have a few books. Ben and Diane Columbus, Second and Charles is the way to go. So I went over there a few days ago and picked up a few books. One of my missions is to, since I got the first run of New Mutants, I'm gonna go and run Power Pack. It's like 61 issues, so picked up a couple of issues. Power Pack. The first one.
You looking for Power Pack, man? But I got a box full of Power Packs right here. I'll be more than glad to give you, my friend.
Oh my God! Well, bless your heart and praise the Lord and pass the peas. For real, I appreciate that.
Yeah, right here. I'll make sure I get it to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You're so kind. But yeah, Power Pack 15. This is the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill with Power Pack. I checked eBay. I bought this for $1, and I checked eBay for this particular book, and the book range is about $5 to $6. So I figured that was pretty good. Also, I picked up Power Pack 27, and Power Pack 27 is the first appearance of Wolverine and Sabretooth in a Power Pack comic book. This is ranging on eBay anywhere between $5 and $10. I don't know why was the significance, but when I saw that, I figured I would go ahead and pick it up. That was $1 as well. The other two books I picked up from Second and Charles were basically back issues of Wildcats. I'm working on filling that as well. Wildcats 13, Wildcats 14. They were $1 a piece. And Wildcats #2. I like this cover. This is when Jim Lee was active on Wildcats. So Wildcats #2. That's it for the older books. As far as the newer books, I picked up a few today. I picked up Flash #8. I can't really tell if this is the newer book, but
Yeah,
because I'm behind. But this is a pretty good book. This actually ends the Godspeed story arc. So it also introduces the new Kid Flash as well. So if y'all don't have this one, go ahead and pick it up. I got Death of X. Good job. Good job. Got Death of X #2. Haven't read this one yet. Last but not least, I completed the whole series, unless they come out with #7. I got DK3 Master Race.
yeah. I started to pick that up today, man. I think I might go pick it up tomorrow. I was thinking about that today.
So right now I have all 6 of them. So I will now, once I get back home to McDonald's, I will go ahead and read these since I have all 6 of them.
Please, how that is.
Yeah, I will. I meant to tell you at the place at Amazing Escape, they only had like book 5 and book 3, but I think at Bungie, I want to say Bungie has all 5 of them. I'm not sure because I know we talked about that at one time. X, you want to pick that up? I got a few more books at home that are waiting for me that I ordered a few weeks ago. I got the Mosaic and the Mosaic variant, but that came through Midtown. So, like I said, by the time I get back home, that'll be waiting for me. And I got another book that's before I got laid off from my job. I bid it on it and I won. But, you know, due to my circumstances, I had to wait to get it. So when I get that one, it's a very key issue that I actually got for a nice price, and on top of that, the seller is working with me, so I'm going to be very proud to show that book whenever I get it. So, but that's it for me right now.
Sweet, man. Excellent. I actually got a nice piece that's actually being on the way shipped in. I got a steal. I told Xavier about it, but it should be here sometime next week. Now, actually, I'm picking up something this weekend. I'm going back to Slab City next week. Go ahead and let you know. Riding down to Slab City next week. So I'm picking up something this weekend that I tossed and turned, and I thought about it, and I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking. And I finally said, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this now because I see it at a cheap price. And it's going to be an arm and a leg within about a year. So I said, let me go ahead and grab that now while it's a little dormant. Nobody's really paying attention to it. So that will be here next week. Going to close things out tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Mr. Mosaic. Had a chance to read it. Very, very slow start. Very slow. Woo! Man, very, very slow build.
Yes.
I mean, don't read that thinking that you're going to get a whole lot out of it the first issue. Probably not. Man. I mean, they really didn't even do a clear job of breaking down the villains. So, I mean, I thought it was a decent read. I'm not going to say it was anything to hit home on. Give it 5 issues. If it's not good in 5 issues, man.
Sayonara.
Yeah, I'm thinking he might just be a character that just needs to be with the Inhumans, which is, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have those characters that just basically they need to be with the group. I mean, it's like Human Torch. You don't need to be doing comics by yourself, bro. You need to be with the group.
Or Iceman.
Was I the only one that thought that the artwork felt like it was DC versus Marvel?
No, it actually looked like it was it looked like DC work as opposed to Marvel. I thought it was a decent read. Like I said, it really wasn't a whole lot to write home about. To be honest with you, I'm more excited for the Invincible Iron Man, the Riri Williams. I think that's going to actually be something that's going to be worth a decent read the closer we get to it. I know we talked all that trash earlier this summer about it, but I actually believe that it's actually going to try to be a pretty good book. Al, so if you had a chance, when you read Mosaic, we'll get your thoughts on it next week. But like I said, I'm not a whole lot to write home about. Xavier, your thoughts on it?
I'm probably not ever gonna see it again. It was that slow. It's not that it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was just so slow. It's like I can't go back and watch Jessica Jones. It was so, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, matter of fact, how I hate to say this, but how drawn out the farm was in Walking Dead.
Oh Lord,
Slow like that.
dark days, man.
And the only reason I thought
Dog days.
they're on the farm now in Walking Dead on TV.
Walking Dead. It's this weekend. Speaking of Walking Dead, I'm just gonna be honest with you, man, and tell you, man. I really hope they get this thing over with and see who the damn bat hit and move on and get this thing rolling. I'm just about tired of hearing about who this damn bat hit. I mean, we all read the comic book. We all know who dies in the comic. It's either gonna be him. Or it's gonna be somebody who we least suspect. Just get it over with. It's like I told Larry today. He asked me what was I going to be watching Sunday. I'm going to watch as much as I can of The Walking Dead, but I'm going back to The Strain. Because right now, The Strain is where it's at. Right now, that's a better show than The Walking Dead. And I'm sure somebody's going to look at me and say, Matt, you out of your damn mind. But I'm telling you, pound for pound, right now, you want action, drama, I'll put this whole season up against this coming season. I'll put this season up against The Strain up against this season of The Walking Dead. And take that 2 times on Sunday and 3 on Wednesday if you catch me at the right time. Because The Strain is on a whole nother level right now. Especially the last 15 minutes of Sunday's episode. I don't know if Al, have you had a chance to sit down and start watching it yet? But you got to start.
Not yet, man, but I need to.
You got to get on it, man. Got to get on it. Really good show. Really good show. I got Xavier into it.
No, you didn't.
I did. I thought I told you about it. You hadn't watched it before.
No. Well, I asked you about it. I said, "Is it worth watching?" You said, "Yeah," but you didn't have to sell me on it.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's gonna sell itself because it's vampires. You're gonna watch it anyway.
Right.
Well, I just gave it a little boost. You know, like when you're on the swing and you try to get a little higher. Kid comes over and pushes you a little higher.
Matter of fact, when I asked you about it and I asked you was it worth reading, you told me who was who was behind it.
Yeah.
That's all I had to hear.
Yeah. Like Blade 2, you're like Strain.
Right.
It is what it is. Al, did you see The Shield last night? Did you see Agents of Shield?
Man, I ain't seen Shield, Flash, Supergirl. I ain't seen anything, man.
We'll save you the space. I say go watch Agents of Shield when you get a chance. Go watch that.
Yeah, watch it.
Did you see the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer?
Yes, I did. I saw that. I think they were playing it safe. I am surprised though. I'm looking at the press release work as far as the posters or whatever. Yondu is his fin is growing taller, like from the original Guardians of the Galaxy. His fin is like part of it's kind of like Indian headdress. That was one noticeable thing from the trailer or from the promotional poster. Drax the Destroyer seems to have a more central part because it's really kind of hard to say, but you know, him giving advice to Star-Lord, that was kind of funny. You know, that whole dialogue. I believe that movie is going to be a good movie. I think that they're holding out on some things. Interesting. Oh my goodness. They're supposed to be introducing not the Eternals, but I can't remember them, but the Collector is part of the group. The name of the group eludes me, but I think it's going to be a good movie, man. What I'm really looking forward to though, a 2-minute trailer for Thor Ragnarok. But for what it's worth, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the teaser that they gave us, it looked pretty good.
Wait a minute, what's this about 2 minute trailer with Thor Ragnarok?
That's what I'm looking forward to, because they did that teaser trailer back at San Diego Comic-Con, but they haven't done anything else since then yet.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I hadn't missed that. That's what I looked like. Let me say it again. I want to make sure I hadn't missed it.
Oh no, I've been scouring YouTube to see if they drop something, but they haven't. So, Doctor Strange has been getting really good reviews. I don't know why TC wanted to drop the spoilers like he did. Shame on UTC, because I didn't read it and I didn't want to read it.
I told you no read. I'm not looking at it. I don't read it. Nope.
The movie drops in less than 2 weeks, so I could wait. But from what I read, the non-spoiler news, that it really, the two teasers that they dropped in the movie kind of ties a lot of stuff together. So we'll see. But yeah, can't wait for that.
Sweet. All right, well, fellas, that's an excellent show tonight. Everyone, thanks for watching. Next week, we will be back with more Comic Hall. We may make a road trip this weekend. We'll talk about that off the air. Everyone, thanks for watching. May the force be with you. We'll see you all next week. Top 10 hip hop groups. Wu-Tang is on the brain. We'll see you all next week.